And we are live. Well, good morning, Facebook, friends, associates, family, Love with Ladette conversation listeners, a unique heart lovers, love in the box recipients, all of that and above. Listen, this morning it is a spectacular morning. I have my beautiful guest. She is now in the family. I consider her my niece. Her name is Charlie Marcol. I have her. I've been dying to have this interview. I didn't even sleep good last night, just waiting to have this love conversation this morning. But let me just get right into it. For you guys who don't know me, my name is Benita Ladette. I am the owner of A Unique Heart. I have a product that's called Love in a Box that's spreading love all around the world, that's mending hearts, that's helping women regain the self-love for their self-worth, their self-actualization. It's just doing amazing things, and it has begun to be a love movement. So during this love movement, that's why we're having love conversations, because I want to share the experiences with you that these amazing women are having from just having experience of just knowing me or the love in the box, the journal, just all of those things. So let me get right into it and introduce you my guest, and let me read you her bio. Her name is Charlie Marcol, the author, motivational speaker, blogger, was born and raised in the great state of Texas. She earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in communications from the University of Houston, where she became a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta sorority. Oh, there y'all go, incorporated. She also earned a Master of Education degree in counseling from Texas Southern University. When you come in contact with Charlie, you immediately get a sense of wisdom that continues to be cultivated through the life experiences, and most importantly, her intimate relationship with God. Just like an inspirational message, her books, her blogs, and words give you what you need. Charlie has a witty sense of humor, which people love and can relate to. Yes, I can. Miss Marcol writes from her personal experience. The result of a failed marriage initiated the opportunity for her to share the pain and doubt of her personal journey. Charlie decided to take negative energy and transform it into a tool to help those struggling with the same issues. While cathartic, it is also serves as a personal testimony of self-discovery, hope, and redemption. Charlie can be seen hosting workshops, sharing her wisdom through panel discussions, women's conferences throughout the state. She enjoys reading, writing, traveling, and spending quality time with family. She seeks to empower women through awareness, discussions, and self-love. My
Yes.
God, that described you to a T. That did. That did. Before we get started and I bring you on, I mean, I don't know if you have your phone close to you or not. Do you want to share this with your on your page, or you just going to share it later?
I'll share later so
Okay.
we
All
can
right.
jump.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So listen, let's just get right on into it. Charlie, just go ahead and share with the listeners your experience of just anything that's pertaining to me, Love in the Box, the Self Love Journal, any of those things.
Okay, so where to begin? We've only known each other a year, I believe today. A year today.
Is that today?
It was today.
My God. How did that? Oh my God. How did we do that? Wow.
And listen,
Talk about alignment.
alignment. A year today. At Rice Awards downtown. And
Yes.
I was like, I want to know her. I want to know her. I remember when you got up to speak about your product, Love in a Box. And I thought, now that is cute. That is cute. And you were so confident rocking your Gucci scarf, like, hello. And I was like, I want to know her. And I remember doing like a 5-minute interview for the podcast. And I said, I want you on my
Yes.
podcast. And then we
Yes.
connected. And the next month,
Mm-hmm.
my grandmother passed away. And I remember you texting me and saying, what is it that you need of me? You didn't say, it was just, what is it that you need? What can I do for you today? And it still
Yes.
brings tears to my eyes because that's the kind of person I am. And sometimes we surround ourselves or encamp ourselves with these people that don't have our best interest at heart. And you said, what is it that you need of me today? And I think I was like, I feel so low. And then you said, text me your address. And then within days, I had love in a box on my doorstep waiting for me when I came home from work. And I opened it up, and the journal, the candle, the necklace, the necklace, the tea, the cards, everything that a woman needs that's feeling low, that feels like love has left her life. Because for me, that was a true love. My grandmother was a true love for me. And it was like, if I didn't mean anything to anybody else, I was everything to her. And so I didn't know a life without that love, that unconditional love. Because I loved people unconditionally, but I felt like other people didn't love me back in return the same way. And so when I had that love in a box and those teas and that coffee mug, and then you have Somebody Loves You, Baby, which is
Girl.
also one of my favorite Patti LaBelle tunes. And it just reminds me somebody loves me. And it was you, but it also reminded me, look at me, I'm getting teary, that my grandmother loved me.
And that's the
Somebody
whole
loved me.
purpose. That's the whole purpose.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, I started crying. See what I'm saying?
Okay, listen. Okay, listen. We just go. I'm, I don't want you to cry, so I'm gonna raise this up. Somebody loves you, baby.
And it was a great reminder for a person who was rebuilding, that I'm tough. I'm tough as Teflon, but sometimes even Teflon breaks down.
That's
And
right. That's right.
and that just reminded me, not only, and you didn't even know me but a month at that time, but you were sending your love to me, and you reminded me that somebody in heaven really loves me, baby.
Yes. Well, okay, and I'm just blown away that today is a year that we've been knowing each other because I went to the networking event, hoping to network with some beautiful women, and that's exactly what we did, and I always know, like, sometime when you meet people, like, you instantly know. Like, when you were talking and everything, I was like, I like her. I was like, something about her I like we just instantly connected, and I said, I'm gonna stay in touch with her. And we did. And from there, like, we've done videos, we've done like little Annie and niece chats, and little encouragers. And then on top of all of that, in your busy schedule, I asked you if you would help me with my anniversary video, and you just took charge, and you just, all the ladies love you. I mean, y'all did a remarkable job. Like, that just put the icing on the cake for me. Like, that just, because I don't really ask people to do stuff for me that often. So it's like, if I ask you, I really, really need it. And because my goal was to focus on keep having the conversation. So I needed somebody else to take over the project so it could all come together. And you did it with no hesitation, and you executed it with excellence. So I thank you for that. I thank you.
Thank you
But
for giving
listen,
me that opportunity.
yeah, and listen, you showed up and showed out. I mean, yeah, that's one of the things that, I mean, you actually have a key to my heart, because it's rare when you meet genuine relationships and genuine people, and in your spirit, so I know it, so I know that there's nothing that Annie won't be there for you, for whatever you're doing, and I'm gonna be your biggest cheerleader, whatever you're doing. So speaking of that, I know that your time is limited this morning, so let's get right into what Charlie Marcol is all about. Let the people know who you are. Let them know what you do. I mean, just, give it to us. If you want to give us a good piece of advice this morning, it's all whatever you want. Listen, this is your platform and your space to share your love, your wisdom, whatever you want to share about yourself.
So as have stated, I am Charlie Marcol, and like my bio said, that you know, a failed marriage initiated the opportunity to go ahead and give birth to what God had already put into me. By design, I am naturally a writer. It's not a fluke that I have a degree in. qualifications first because I'm naturally a talker and I'm naturally a writer. My mom and I look back sometimes and we say, we didn't know what that was called. My mom probably thought it was inquisitiveness. But I used to write at the age of 3, like just write different words down. What does this spell? And she'll say nothing. So I changed the letters because my teacher said every letter makes a sound. Every letter makes a sound. So
Yeah.
I go and ST and I say, what this spell? And she'll say, nothing. And I said, well, if you said this spell nothing, and I wrote some other words
Yeah.
and you say this spell nothing, how both of these could be
Yeah.
nothing? And we laugh now, but that was a wordsmith in the making. That's
Yeah.
exactly, that was a kid that loved words and vocabulary in the making. And it just, that I was laying in bed one night and I was like, I know I'm not the only one. As women, we think we're on this journey by ourselves and no one can understand. And it was just like I heard an audible voice, but a whisper that said, share your story. You not. You are not the only one. And so that's how the first book was born, From the Floors to the Forest, where I challenge women to think deep before they leap into marriage. And now I'm starting to say, think deep before you leap into anything, marriage,
Yeah.
relationship. Because, and the thing was, I just went back and I started creating chapters based on when God was talking to me. The red flags, you saw them. There's a boo just for you. You know that. I remember, God rest my grandmother's soul, but I remember 2 weeks before before my wedding, my grandmother came up to me and said, "That's not your husband." And, so,
Woo.
and it was
Woo.
the story of Nathan, if and David in the Bible. As my pastor said, if they're in it, Bible readers on. It was like she came up to me just as wise and as straight and said, "That's not your husband." And because we think we're 30, you
We
know,
hard headed. You
hard
can't
headed.
tell us nothing.
What? You
I'm in
can tell
love. You gonna tell me? Yes.
what? I was
Yeah.
because I had everything that the world said I was supposed to have, but I didn't have that. And I'm gonna say that, okay? That I was more focused on that look.
The look. Yes. The image.
But see,
Hmm.
now I've gone from wanting that to wanting it. It is definite. I didn't have that. See, we look at other people and we say we want that.
Yeah.
No, I don't want that.
Yeah.
I want it. I want what is for me. And my grandmother
Yeah.
was telling me
Yeah.
basically, you are settling for that
Yes.
and not waiting for your him, it. And I was like, nobody understands. You know how we could pull out the waterworks and
Yes.
so that I
Went
pulled it,
all into the little spill.
babe. I had to spend it. You hear me? Because I didn't spend about at this
Yeah.
point $30,000 on a wedding. So I got married
For
during
the
that right
image. Yeah. For the image.
for the image. Cause honey, that wedding was lit for 10 let me see, oh nine, that was 11 years ago. I had
Yeah.
a hip hop pianist, I had the drama with a DJ, Moet champagne, 2 dresses to change in, a ballroom full of people, but I didn't have love and I didn't have it. That I had that image. I could say my husband better. I could say all of those sentences that we wrap ourselves up into through social media. We read
Yeah.
a caption and say, "Oh, that's the new thing to say." So I'm gonna start saying, "My husband better than yours." He need to be. That's who you pick to be your husband.
That's it. That's it.
But see, comparison is the thief of joy. So when you saying my husband better than yours, you're comparing your husband to something,
Yes.
and that should not be
I
a
know that is.
comparison.
Mm.
And so I was a part of that. That. And now I am praying for him and
Yeah.
it. And
Yes.
so that's how that came about, that first book, From the Florist to the Forest, because I asked more questions to the florist. And I
Yeah.
ended up in the forest like the children of Israel. But I knew I didn't want to be there 40 years. I didn't have 40. So, Lord,
Yeah.
what's the lesson I'm supposed to learn? Come on,
Right.
Lord, talk to me. And that's how the book was birthed. And then I became a best-selling author off another story, um, my tax dollars at work, writing under the Brown Girls umbrella, and it was an
Yeah.
anthology. And again, the best stories are the ones that come from you and your heart. Because can't nobody tell your story better than
Word
you
like
can.
you can. That's right.
Oh,
That's
baby,
right.
no. Oh, no, no, no. And I
That's
became a
right.
bestseller author from that story, my tax dollars at work. So, decided to date a firefighter, after the divorce was over, knowing that
Hmm.
I needed to sit down and heal. But
Yeah.
sometimes as women, we are too afraid to be by ourselves. That's a scary look to say, I am single. And I learned in that
Right.
process, there's a difference being alone and lonely.
Mm. Say it again one more time, niece. One more time. Say that one more time.
There is
Say
a
that one more time.
for the people in the back with the cheap seats that just want to be in a concert but didn't want to pay for
Yeah.
the floor. Say, I've been there.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is a difference between being alone and lonely.
That's it.
When you
That's
are
it.
lonely, it breeds desperation.
That's it.
Instead of me accepting that I was alone in this new season, new chapter, divorcee, I let loneliness take over.
Take over.
And
Emotion.
my emotions took over.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
that right there is another situation. And I write through my pain.
Hmm.
That, want to make me mad, I'm not going to go off on you on Facebook. I'm going to write about you.
Hmm.
I write through my pain. It helps me feel better. That's a healing mechanism. It
It really
also,
is.
yeah, when you journal, it lets you go back to see how far you've grown.
That's right. That's
It
right.
how far you come. You remember Virginia Slim back in the day used to have a motto that say, "You come a long way, baby."
Come a long ways. Yeah.
When you journal, it allows you to go back and say, "You've come a long way, baby."
Come a long way. And which is good because guess what? You didn't stay stuck in that place. You know what I mean? A lot of people stay stuck in that place. You can't stay stuck because something didn't work out, or he's an ex, or your feelings are still hurt. It's okay to get to it's okay to hurt and grieve, all that. I'm not saying that, because we are all human. But journaling and working through it, the goal is to work through it, go through it to get to it. Don't stay stuck in that place. So I just commend you, because I'm telling you, I've been doing this thing. I've had my nonprofit, I think, since 2005, 2006. I've seen many people stuck for 20 and 30 years.
Like
I
my
mean,
daddy
I
asked,
counseled until I
my daddy said,
and they
"I
still stayed stuck. So I
stick in
commend you. I commend you.
the stick in the mud." That's what my dad says all the time. Some people are complacent and
Mhm.
happy with being the stick in the mud. You know,
Yeah,
and
that's true. Some people want to be miserable.
the mud dries and it gets hard, and you're happy with being the stick in the mud. And so
Yeah,
sometimes you got to just pull yourself on up out the muck and the miry clay.
that's right. That's right.
And I had to learn to do that through all of these processes. But everything, and I think this is, let me say this too, for the person that says, why God, or why I got to go through this, because it's a part of the journey. It is making up
Right.
your character of
It's a part of it.
you are. And once you get past that, listen, can't nobody take you back from a place that you've already graduated from. Can't nobody take me back to
Mm-mm.
WW Carter High School. I've already graduated from that. Can't nobody take me back to University of Houston to get another bachelor's in community. I've graduated from that. So when you've graduated from there, can't nobody take you back to that place, that particular place. That you've elevated, worked so hard to get out of, pulled yourself
Mm-hmm.
out of the muck, the miry, the dirt, the mud, whatever you want to call it.
All of that.
Can't
Yeah,
nobody take you. They're not even deserving to take you back there.
that's right. And listen, only you can allow it.
And only,
Only only you can allow it. I always, my favorite motto is, you cannot live in the past and in the future at the same time. You
that's good. You say that again for the people in the
you
back.
can't.
Come on.
You can't. You cannot live in the past and the future at the same time. It's not humanly possible. It's not. It's not. And that is my motto. Like, that is my favorite motto. It's even in my journal. Like, when you think back on the things that you know, encounters that you had, failures, whatever, it's for you to look back on it and grow. It's to look back and say, okay, I was 20 years old when I made that mistake. I was 30 years old when I made that mistake. How or whatever, how old, or however, whatever your age was at that time, or whatever the case is, I wasn't in my right mind. I let my emotions take over the place. I let him bring me out of my character.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? My eyes. I had wool over my eyes. He fed me a lot of good stuff. He got in my head, and all those things. But once you recognize, the key to getting over all of those things is recognizing the awakening of realizing what happened and realizing the difference to move on. And you know what else I pray for all of my friends and the Love in a Box recipients and the single women that I want to see have a mate. I pray for wisdom. You
Yes.
got to have wisdom. When you have the wisdom is to know the difference. When you
Mm-hmm.
know what you know, can't nobody tell you nothing, because you've been there, you've lived it, you know it. They can't tell you. That's just like you said. You can't go back to the high school and the college and go and graduate, because you've done that before. So in other words, if that guy come feeding you that again, you ain't having it, because
You
you've
ready
had
for
that. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
you've had that. Yeah, you looking for him because you know what you worth and what you deserve. And so the him that you're looking for is the new girl that's got the awakening of know who she is and what she's worth and what she deserves. And until you get that and get it, him, for you to satisfy what you want, it's a wrap. Everybody else just talking. They just talking, and you ain't trying to hear that because you've heard it before.
Heard
Yeah,
it all before. Listen, I love
yeah,
that. I've heard it all before. And as women,
yeah.
my grandmother used to say, Lord, I miss her so much. But she used to say, you
Mm-hmm.
know. When
Yeah,
you're enough, I can't talk to you until you ready, because and as
mm,
women, we know when something is not good for us. I can,
yeah,
even when I go into certain places and
yeah,
spaces, it have a different energy that it might be
yeah,
good for him, but it's not
yeah.
good for me. And
Right.
he might look good to me, but my grandma
Mm,
used to say, but is he good for you? It look good to you, but is it good for you?
right,
And
right,
as a teacher, I say prepositions make the difference. See, two and four is two different things. Prepositions tell the position, and they
right.
make the difference. Good,
Difference. Right.
good for you.
Mm, mm, mm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, listen, niece. We're gonna be behind the scenes manifesting this new mate. You already know it. That glow is all over you. It is all over you. And when I tell you, when that time is right and that season come, yeah. On this one, I mean, I don't know, y'all. You might just go jump the broom and say I do. You might not even want a wedding on this one. You know what I mean? Because I'm just saying, because you know what you want. You know what I
That
mean?
that
You know.
lasted longer than that marriage. You understand me? And I can't do that no more. That debt was, oh my God, that debt lasted way longer than the marriage. Matter of
Wow.
fact, I
Now that.
solved all of the debt during COVID. Okay. COVID has
See
been
that?
good to me.
Wait a
Despite
minute.
the people dying and and what's going on in the world. But yes, that debt lasted longer than the marriage. Cause
Did y'all hear that? I want to make sure people heard that. She said the debt lasted longer than the marriage. So women out there, please, 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 I'm telling you, I'm going to be bringing you some good stuff. I'm working on the content right now. And I love the way she brought that out, saying the debt listen, all that debt trying to impress people, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Let me tell y'all, I've been married for 21 years and I didn't even have a wedding.
mm,
Now I understand some people that's they dream and I get that. I don't knock that. And I probably will do it on one of our renewals coming up or something like that. But at that time, I was like 20, I think 26 years old, 25 or something. Anyway, my point was my husband said, okay, hey, you got a choice. Do you want to do a wedding? Do you want to put this amount of money on a wedding? Or do you want to put this and get our house built? I say, you know what? The wedding is just for a few minutes. I said, the house we're going to live in. I said, I want to build my house. I said, let's go to the courthouse and I'm putting this money down on my house and we're going to fully furnish it. That's what I did. And we've been married for 21 years and been knowing each other for over 30 years. So my point is, I wasn't trying to prove a point to all these people because I knew he loved me and I loved him. And all we was doing just wanted to live right in the eyes of God and just get that marriage certificate, so
Mhm.
that our bond could have a covenant blessing over. That was it. Now,
Mhm.
we could have had a nice reception. All that. My mind, I wasn't in all of that at that time. I just was in love and just ready to do the right thing by God. That was it. And then I always said later we would do something. We wanted to do something. I want to say on the 20th anniversary, and I can't remember what happened, or it's like our schedules couldn't connect for him to be off work or something like that. But we have a 25th coming up. You know what I mean? So we might can do something a little nice and a little renewing the vows or something like that. So, the point is that if we do it, it's going to be around love. We're going to have a good time. It ain't going to be not like I'm trying to impress this person. I ain't going to break the bank on it. It's just going to be a big celebration of love, period. And to renew our vows. That's it.
Period.
That's it.
Because the
So,
goal is to be with your soulmate. That's the
yes,
goal.
that's the goal. That's the goal. And,
Other.
and, and,
Now, is
and
it
can
not?
I,
Yeah, but that's
yeah,
not the end goal. That's not the end goal. That's not the end game.
right. And I want to say something else too to the listeners that are listening. I have a good friend of mine, and I'm going to bring her back on with some other girlfriends. But when she got married around her second time, her goal that she asked God for was just for the man to love her.
Mm.
All she wanted was for him to love her unconditionally. She wasn't worried about if he had $1 million in the bank, the nicest BMW or whatever. Ladies, be careful of the material things that you see that a man might have in the beginning, because if he have all those things, he might not have enough money for you because he's got to pay those bills. He's
Hmm.
got to pay them. So you want to make sure that you meet somebody where they're at and where you're at, and then you guys both bring some to the table if it's worth building together. But you will know it when you know what you know once you meet. You know what I mean? I'm not saying build a man up now, because the man should already be complete on himself and you be complete. And then whatever you decide you want to establish together, that's fine. But the point I'm saying is, don't say, oh, I want the guy with the big 2-story house. And listen, that stuff costs. It costs to maintain a lifestyle like that. And especially if he's by himself, if he has children to take care of, all those good things. So in other words, it's so many things to look at when you're deciding on picking him. You know, the main thing that I want my women to get, and the men, but especially my women, because that's where my heart goes out to, make sure you are complete within yourself. Know what you want for yourself. So when you meet that guy, he's going to be an added bonus to you. You the prize, you the diamond. You the diamond he been looking for. And when he meets you, he's gonna know it. And when you meet him, you're gonna know it. But you gotta be complete within yourself. You have to. If you're looking for somebody to complete you and you're not over your last relationship and all that, it will not work. It will not work. You cannot carry baggage into a new relationship. You just can't.
And
So, Charlotte.
like you said, you and I talk offline. We talk about the list, but also do a list of things that
Yes.
you don't want. I think
That,
sometimes we focus on the wants, but do a list of the
mhm,
things you don't want. That don't want is just as important, because that's the deal breaker. I don't want to
that is.
I don't want a man that doesn't incorporate me into his life, into his everyday life. If I'm talking about I want a family, I want my family to love you as much as your family. I know it's not about them, but it makes living together peaceable. I don't want you
It makes it easier.
on Thanksgiving and I'm going to my mama's on Thanksgiving. No. If a family unit is important to you, make sure you have
Yes.
he don't keep me in the dark. I'm not the woman
Yes.
that's up his sleeve. You need to put all
Yes.
of the don't wants on that list. So when because he's gonna show him your representative
Mhm.
doesn't stay around forever. And when the
Right.
representative lose away, you need to be able to say, aha, I knew it.
That's right. That's right. Because I talked about that on let me see, what show was it? It could have been Love and Black with my beautiful sister and brother, or either their talk show. I think it was last Tuesday, and we talked about why am I still single. the I said to the listeners on that show, I said eventually those layers are going to come off. Eventually, in the beginning, all you got to do is just sit back and watch. Just sit back and watch. Those layers are going to come out. Let me tell you, just like they try to talk about us with, talk about how we're looking for gold diggers or whatever, however you want to say it. Listen, they could put a message or a false sense of humor on if they want to. But what I'm saying, like with the man, if he's acting like, oh, he's got it going on and this and that and whatever, listen, if you just pay attention, it ain't gonna take long. Them layers
Take
is gonna
those
come.
rose-colored glasses off.
Yes,
We keep
yes,
rose-colored glasses on because we don't want to deal with the reality. The
yes,
reality is what's real. Take
yes.
those rose-colored glasses off and see it for what it is and not what you want or what it can
Now what
be.
you right. That's
Yeah.
true. That's good. That's good. Well, listen, I know that and I'm gonna have you back on when we're not pressed for time. But I just had to get you on here and and I'm telling you, I don't even know. I might have got 3-4 hours sleep last night. I was so excited. I'm like, but the listeners, they have to know who Charlie is. They have to know her wisdom that she want to share, her story, all of that. Ladies, if you are looking for someone to speak at any of your speaking engagements, she's creativity, just her creativeness in her writing and her speaking and the words she uses, just amazing. This is somebody that you want to book for your next event for 21. She even has amazing podcasts. If you guys think that you want to connect on something that you can resonate to bring to her listeners, hey, I'm telling you, this is the one. This is the one. So tell the listeners how they can stay in contact with you. Share your social media platforms, your website, all of that.
Sure, sure. I would love for you to reach out if you want to connect and continue to build. I'm all about lifting as I climb. Your community of women is here. This lady on the screen, I love her to death. She is in my community and she empowers me. But to find me, I am at www.iamcharliemarcol.com. That's CharlieMarcol. I am charliemarcol.com, and I am Charlie Marcol on every social media platform. So that's Facebook, that's Insta, and that's Twitter. Charlie Marcol, that's who I am. I would love to connect with you.
Okay, so any last word of encouragement or love that you want to put out there to the people today? Anything? Just anything off the top of your head? Because you love your affirmations. You saw I put all those affirmations in your flyer. And she loved Aretha Franklin. A rose is still a rose. So I had to put that on the flyer. I had to do all this for her.
Rose is still a rose, honey. You could be going through. And even when you are being pruned, yes, it hurts. But think about when you blossom into that beautiful flower. Whatever that you're going through, you are still a rose. That's why that song is my song. Because whatever I'm going through, I'm still a rose. A rose is a rose. And if it's called by any other name, what you say in the yard, oh, that's a rose. Yellow rose. Oh, pink rose. It is still a
It
rose.
is still a rose.
So
Okay.
even in your pruning season, in your season of pruning, remember that the hurt does not last forever. That you
Right.
will blossom into that beautiful flower that you are made to be. Can't nobody tell you what you are because God made you and He made us in His own image. So bloom and blossom, my sisters.
Yes, yes. This is why I love her. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, Facebook, we are gonna sign off. Stay there for me real quick, Charlie. Facebook, we're signing off. We want to give you back your time. I just had to bring her on today on Heart to Heart Talk Tuesday because she shared her heart. I shared my heart. We shared love with you guys. We shared a little wisdom, a little knowledge, little nuggets. We just want to see everybody win and everybody share love. So we love you. A unique heart loves you, Charlie loves you, and somebody loves you, baby. We are signing off.